Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Dish with Pepper with me, Pepper Persley. I am here with one of my mentors and an amazing broadcaster and former national champion as a head coach. I'm here with Carolyn Peck, who is currently doing broadcasting for the Las Vegas Aces. But before we get into the Aces, I want to congratulate you on being inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. It's an amazing achievement. So, what does that honor mean to you, and what was the induction experience like?
I tell you, it was so exciting, Pepper. The thing that it meant the most to me, the reason it meant the most to me is that my parents were able to be there, and it's something that they have wanted for a very long time. To be able to celebrate that with them and also with some of my former coaches, players, it just meant everything. My colleagues to be mentioned in the same breath as some of the people that are already in, I just felt extremely honored.
Oh, well, you absolutely deserve it. All right. Last women's college hoop season was really exciting. So, what has you excited about this upcoming season?
Well, the college season coming up, I mean, I think it'll be as unpredictable as last year. And I think that the ratings will go up even higher because there's no clear cut dominant team. I think everybody will be interested to watch and see what Angel Reese does, Caitlin Clark does. With all those freshmen that were out at UCLA, they've grown up. There's been a lot of movement. So I think next season's college season will be exciting.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. All right. Let's turn to the Aces. What are your general thoughts on the Aces so far this season?
Pepper, they're really good. I am fortunate enough to have a front row seat to the majority of their games. And being inside, being able to go to practice and see how they work together every day, to see how each player, 1 through 11, are so excited for the success of each other individual. I mean, they legitimately are celebrating for each other, pulling for each other, and really working hard to set each other up. And that's adding the vets of Candace Parker and Alicia Clark to an already stacked roster.
Yeah. I mean, I think just watching them, it's just so much fun. And I have to admit, I haven't watched as much Aces as I did last year because I've been focusing more on the Liberty. But even in the games I have watched, it's like their offensive flow is amazing. Like they just basically, the second the Aces have the ball, they can do whatever they want. And on that note, the Aces are leading the league in a lot of offensive categories. So I'm not going to go through and list them all, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on how their offense flows.
Well, I think one of the things that I was looking at, Pepper, was the usage of the starting five. And when you look at their usage, they are off the charts as far as, Jackie Young's usage is 24%, Asia Wilson 25, Chelsea Gray 20, Kelsey Plum 23, and Candace Parker 17. And all of those players, when it looks at their efficiency, they're plus 18. To have a starting five that has that much efficiency and spread the usage across, they're not depending on just one player or two, even three. All five are having a major impact.
Yeah, and that reminds me of like this conversation around like having a super team because I think having a threat from all five spots and all of them being able to do almost everything, it's like pick your poison. Like who are you going to guard? Who are you going to double? It's like impossible like to be able to figure that out. And you mentioned their starting five, but this year has been the year of Jackie Young so far. Can you talk about the impact on the court this season and what's been different for her?
What is so impressive about Jackie Young is if you look across her career, from her second year to her fifth year, each year she's increased her scoring and she's found different ways to be efficient. In the first year, she was that downhill player and that could get inside and finish. And not only now is she has always been able to finish in the paint, but now with her strength, the ability to draw fouls. And then when Becky Hammond came in last season, and told her she wanted to be a 3-point shooter. She, the ability to work on that in the off season and be as efficient as she was last year, she's even topped that this season. She's a phenomenal player. And Pepper, on top of that, she draws the assignment of defending the best player on the other team.
Right. I mean, she's one of, if not the best, like two-way player on that team. And so it's really great to have a player like that, like you said. All right.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, like I mentioned before a little bit, a lot of talk about the super teams, including the Aces and the Liberty. And their first matchup this season is coming up. So, how do you think they'll match up against the Liberty?
Yeah, that's going to be a fun game to watch. And the thing that I think we're going to see a lot is up and down. The pace is going to be incredible with what Maureen Johannes has brought to the Liberty to go along with the talent. That is somebody who can push tempo, and you've got to worry about her on the drive. She's got a quick three, and that opens up things for Brianna Stewart. You have Courtney Vandersloot that's out there distributing the basketball. She's a scoring threat as well. They also have MVP Jonquel Jones that's there. So the Liberty have a lot of depth. And this year, the Aces do too, with having Alicia Clark, Kia Stokes coming off the bench. And Kirsten Bell has been able to contribute also for the Aces. So I think you're going to see a lot of players in and out. And I think you're going to see an up-tempo game.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've been thinking about is like I'm giving the edge to the Aces just right now because they're the best in the league, but I think they know each other better. Like they brought in two pieces mainly, but that core four that they've had there since they've been drafted, I think they're a lot closer. I think it takes time for a team, even of like the talent the Liberty has, it takes time for them to be able to like develop together. So I think that's what for me gives the Aces a little bit of an edge, but it's definitely going to be an interesting game.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing. It's always interesting when you see Asia Wilson go up against Brianna Stewart.
Right.
But I think you're exactly right. The core of the Aces have been together, and with injuries in the preseason, late arrivals, some for the Liberty, it's taken them a little while to gel, even with Johannes coming a little late. But I think, when it comes to those two teams are the two that everybody has talked about buying for a championship. And I think that everybody's focus will be at a championship level when those two teams meet.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. My next question for you is, are you willing to share any predictions for the rest of the season, whether that's MVP, Rookie of the Year, Champion, whatever you want?
Oh, wow. MVP is going to be interesting. And I say that because, well, the Aces have reigning MVP in Asia Wilson. But when you look at the way that Jackie Young is playing, Chelsea Gray, then you have Brianna Stewart, who is doing Brianna Stewart things in New York, Alyssa Thomas, and putting up triple doubles. She's definitely going to get a look. So MVP is going to be a hard one to call. I'm looking at Rookie of the Year. Aaliyah Boston has had a major impact, and I think that she could be the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year. I think that Indiana is going to make their way into the playoffs. I think that team is gelling. I think Christy Sides is doing a tremendous job. I think there's some dangerous teams to keep an eye on, and I think Dallas and Atlanta are two of those teams that everybody better watch out for. And I really hope and pray that Brianna Jones has a speedy recovery. It was heartbreaking to see her go down as well as she was playing for Connecticut.
Absolutely. All right. Are there any storylines we should be paying attention to for the W?
Oh, gosh, there are so many. Wow. I do. I think the youth of Indiana and what Lynn Dunn has put together is going to be interesting to watch as that team continues to develop. I talked about Atlanta as well. They are small in the post, but Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard have really They've upped their game. What will Ryan Howard do throughout the rest of this season to back up her campaign that she had a great rookie season, rookie of the year? And that'll be fun. And who'll be all-stars? Here's a big story. Will Chelsea Gray get snubbed this year like she did last season?
I remember that was a big thing in Vegas. All right, so my last question for you is just what message do you have for anybody who's maybe reluctant to watch the WNBA or somebody who doesn't think that it would be entertaining or anybody who doesn't support the league?
If you're not watching the WNBA, you're missing out. This is a time where you go through that basketball Jones after the college season is over, the NBA is over, and you think, well, I have to take a break for basketball. No, you don't. The WNBA night in and night out, you see the close games. There's great talent on the floor on every single team. And these women are playing at another level. It's a high technical game. There's a lot of great coaches in the WNBA that have tremendous strategy. I really like to watch, Pepper, on every team, what teams run after timeouts, because there's such great strategies that are put on the floor, and to watch it come together. I mean, from being a former coach, it's really exciting to watch to see how players carry those things off.
All right. Well, before we head out, I'm just curious where everybody can find you on social media if they can follow you.
Well, I am Carolyn Peck on Twitter, and I'm Carolyn Peck, on Instagram.
That's funny. All right. Thank you for joining me, and thank you everybody for listening. As always, you can find me on Instagram at Pepper Persley and on Twitter at Team Persley. Not so fun a handle as yours, but it's really great to have you. And I hope everybody, if they're not already, will watch the WNBA.
Can't wait to see it all-star, Pepper.
Yeah.